Good thing he's 6'8" with big shoulders, because our boy was carrying the whole story. Hey, what's up? My name's Leah. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another reading vlog. So this week we're going to be doing a really chill, just like mood reading weekly vlog, and I have a few books that I kind of am thinking I might be in the mood for this week. So all of them are 2025 anticipated releases that I haven't gotten around to reading yet. And so the first one I'm kind of thinking about reading is called The Orc Sweetheart. And so this one's on Kindle Unlimited, and it's a orc monster romance, but it's set in this like cozy fantasy little small village by the sea, and I think it's just going to be really cozy and sweet. And I also really love orc romances. It's like my favorite kind of monster romance. Orcs and gargoyles are like my two favorites. So I'm really excited about this. It's a new release, and I think it's the first in a new monster romance series. So I'd like to get to that. And then I also have the arc for another monster romance called How to Seduce a Slender by Lizzie Strong. So this one is the sequel to How to Marry a Lich, which I read last year during summer week, and I loved that. I gave that 5 stars. It was like maybe one of my favorite books of 2024. So I'm really excited about this one. I didn't even know there was a sequel coming out until I saw it on the author's Instagram, and she was talking about how she was looking for people who wanted to do like early reviews to like give out ebook arcs to. And so I signed up for that, and I got into her arc program, which is really exciting because I love all of her books. She's one of my favorite monster romance authors. And then the last one I'm thinking about reading is the newer one from Kimberly Lemming, and I think it's called I Boned Down with a T-Rex and Got Trapped in a Rom-Com or something about like I got abducted by aliens and now I'm trapped in a rom-com, something like that. Whatever. There's like some fun stuff on the cover. There's a T-Rex, I think there's like a lion, there's some alien people. So I think it's going to be a monster romance between like two aliens or one alien and a human or something like that. But it sounds like it's going to be fun. I kind of want to go into this one blind because I've never read Kimberly Lemming before, but I've heard everybody rave about her books and how good her writing is. And since this is the new one in like a different series, not her old series, I kind of want to start with this one and just see what I think of her writing. And then if I like it, I could go back and read her other books. But that's kind of what I'm thinking for this vlog. So all 2025 releases, all ones that I've been really excited to get to, and I just have not picked them up yet for some reason. And I kind of want to just take this week easy and like chill because I am moving soon. So I feel like this is going to be one of the last weeks before shit hits the fan, where I'm like packing and moving, and I need to like unhaul some of my books and pack up all my shit and whatever.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
So I kind of want to just be, relaxed. I like to be moisturized and unbothered, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to read outside a little bit this week, I think, and just kind of like read whatever I'm feeling. So if I want to switch up the TBR later, I might, but I'm pretty confident that like these are the books that I want to read this week. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of reading and everything. And so I will update you guys a little bit later. Is that sassy face? Me too. Hello, my sweet petunias. I have a reading update for you. So I started a book, and I'm actually 50% of the way into The Orc Sweetheart. So I picked this one up on KU, and the beginning, I will say, it was super, super slow. Like the first couple chapters, our main guy, Bowden, the orc guy. Good thing he's 6'8" with big shoulders, because our boy was carrying the whole story. So we open with the girl's POV, and I already am fighting for my life trying to remember her name. Anyways, Girly Pop McGee, she is a nurse, and she just took this new job on this like magical island. She is like certified in providing like whatever medical care to magical creatures, like different beings who aren't human. She's a human, and oh, her name's Tilly, Nurse Tilly. Anyway, so Nurse Tilly McGee, she takes this job on this island, and so she has to like leave her cousin that she's living with and go move to this magic island. And so she's kind of like, emotional about that. That's like a stressful time. And so she gets there and she meets the creatures who live on the island, and it's really cute there. And the setting is really beautiful. I love the setting. It's got this like beautiful island setting, and there's like lots of flowers and trees, and like everybody on the island lives in a cottage, and all the cottages have like a different colored door, and there's all of these little shops in the town. And so like each of the people who lives there basically owns their own business, and all of the businesses are named like cute little names, right? And it's just very quaint, it's very cozy, it's got that like quintessential cozy fantasy vibe. And she meets all the different beings who live there. And so the main guy who like picks her up when she gets to the island is a dragon, and he's like the guardian of the island. And then she meets Bowden, who is our main love interest guy, and he's an orc, and he's like the caretaker of the island. So basically he goes around to everybody's house and like fixes anything that's broken. He is almost like a groundskeeper kind of, but he also like fixes stuff. He can build things. He's like really good at fixing stuff. He's super strong because he's an orc, and he's 6'8". He's super hot. He's single. He's got like the big tusks. He's got like poofy hair, and he's all green and has like big muscles and whatever. He's a king. We like him. He's kind of broody, and he hasn't been in a relationship with anybody in a long time. He has a twin sister too. So his twin sister is queer, and she has a wife, and they all like live on the island together. And his mom is actually the doctor on the island. So our new girly pop, Tilly, is working for his mom. And so that's really funny. And he originally like kind of has a grudge against her. They kind of have a little bit of like a hate to love relationship going on at the beginning, because she's moving to the island from the city, and he has like some negative whatever past with the city that she lived in and the university that she went to and like worked for before moving here. And so he's kind of like prejudiced against her at first. He's like, oh my god, she's this city girl, like she's gonna be like a stuck up pain in my ass, whatever. And so he's kind of like not nice to her. But at the same time, like as soon as he lays eyes on her, he's like, oh my god, she's really hot, like I'm super into her. But he's like into her, but he's also mean to her because he doesn't understand his feelings when he sees her. And I don't think it's like a mate romance. I don't know that it's fated mates. He doesn't have that vibe of like he knows she's his mate kind of thing. It's more like he's conflicted. He's kind of fighting feelings. He's doesn't like that she's from the city, and she's like, this dude's super hot, I like him, but every time I see him he's like kind of an asshole for no reason. And I think he kind of like makes comments that come off not how he intended, like comes across rude when he's not trying to be. And I think part of that is just the like interspecies relationship kind of situation. But anyway, so she's kind of getting like acclimated to the island and meeting all of the people who live there, and everybody loves her except him. And she's like, god, like the one guy that I am kind of like down bad for, that I think is really hot, is like the only guy on the island that I feel like I like got off on the wrong foot with him. Like I can't like seem to get through to him. Everybody else is like super friendly but him. And he kind of sees, as he starts to be around her more like in public, that everybody else really likes her, including his twin. She's like best friends with his twin sister. And he's like, okay, maybe I, jumped the gun a little bit with this girl. Like maybe I need to, be kinder to her and like get to really know who she is, because I am really attracted to her. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, is he's decided, okay, I think she is a nice person. I think I, misjudged her and I shouldn't have done that. And I really want to like try and woo her and like kind of win her over. And so that's kind of happening. And Tilly is like, okay, I already know that I kind of like this dude, and now he's being nicer to her and apologized and everything. And so now we finally get to see their relationship kind of like, flip that switch from hate to love to like, okay, we're actually gonna like be kind to each other and see where this goes. So I'm excited about that. I'm really into it so far. I am really excited to get back into reading it. Honestly, it took a lot for me to just not read it in one sitting and to come and actually update you at 50%. I'm trying to be better about that and not just come on and be like, I finished another book.
Lies! Lies and slander!
Anyways, so I'm really enjoying that. So my goal is to try and finish that today or tomorrow, and then I'll pick up something else because I'm also trying to be better about reading like one book at a time instead of reading like 6 books at a time. So anyways, we're progress. We love to see her. So that's where I'm at with my reading, and I will update you when I've read something else. Hello, my darlings. It has been a few weeks since I updated this vlog. Do you remember at the beginning of this when I was like, oh, I feel like this is going to be like the last week I have before like all hell breaks loose with the move? Well, that was incorrect because the moving craziness started swiftly after I said that, of course. But we're now in Iowa, so welcome to Iowa. Welcome to my new library setup. I haven't decorated much yet because we just got here and like got unpacked and everything, but I have been doing some more reading, and so I wanted to update you because I have been really having a lot of fun with my mood reading. So I finished reading The Orc Sweetheart, and I think I'm gonna give that one a 4. I really liked the like hate to love kind of relationship in here. It was really fun. I love the setting of this cozy island town where Bowden and Tilly live. And I will say, I think the reason it wasn't a 5 for me is because there were some spicy scenes that I thought were really well done, and there were some that I like didn't like how they were written as much, if that makes sense. And I feel like the last third of this book got a little bit slow for me once they started like getting together, because it really shows like the whole span of their relationship, like from when they meet until like them getting married at the end. And so I feel like once they hit that happily ever after, for me, I'm like, I don't feel like I need to see like the wedding and yada yada. And so by the end, I was like, okay, I don't really know if I'm gonna continue with the series, because I know there's like a second book out, and then I think there's gonna be some more books in the series. So I was like, I'm feeling kind of iffy about this. And then plot twist, I read the epilogue, and the epilogue was from the POV of this girl Maisie, and I was like, who the hell is this Maisie bitch? I don't know who she is. I don't care about her. I was cranky when I finished this book, can you tell? Anyway, and so I read the epilogue anyways, and then it was so good that I proceeded to read books 2 and then the novella in this series, and I'm frothing at the mouth for book 3, and it doesn't come out till April. So let's talk that through, because I basically was like binge reading this series after feeling like lukewarm at the end of book 1. So the epilogue, we're following Maisie, and she's a new character who's not in book 1 at all. She's like the niece of some other characters that Tilly and Bowden are friends with on the island, whatever. And so she comes to town because she's like helping take care of her aunt who got injured in this first book. And so she comes to town, Miss Girly Pop, whatever. She's a baker. She's like helping out in the bakery. She makes like cakes and stuff. It's cute. And so she, at Bowden and Tilly's wedding, gets introduced to some other folks, and she sees this hot guy at the wedding ceremony, and she's like, ooh, who is that fine specimen over there? And the girly pops know that he's like this really shy single guy, and we met him in book 1 because he's friends with the main friends with the orc guy Bowden. And so he's this really shy incubus demon guy, and he like works from home. He's very isolated. He's had like some medical problems and stuff, and so he doesn't really like to go out in public and whatnot because he feels like kind of insecure about how he looks, because he's got like some medical things going on that make him like not the normal bright red demon color that he should be. And anyways, so she has the hots for him. And so it kind of like sets up book 2 to be their romance. And then I looked on Kindle Unlimited and book 2 was out. And I was like, well, shit, now I need to read about Maisie and this guy. Oh my God, why can't I remember his name right now? Anyways, he's really hot and fun, and he's kind of like shy and nerdy, and he's a computer coder for like video games. Anyways, whatever, he's cool. And so I was like, I gotta read book 2 right now because I'm frothing at the mouth. So I did, and I'm gonna give book 2 5 stars. It was so good. I binge read it to the point where, like, I didn't even tell you I was reading it because I was too busy reading to come on here and speak to you. And anyways, it was fabulous. Their spicy scenes were so good, and I was eating it up. His name's Ren. He's very hot, and he and Maisie have this very, like, grumpy sunshine dynamic, and she is very, like, bubbly sunshine, like, baker cafe girl, and he's this like isolated like programmer guy with the glasses and oh, I'm so shy. Anyway, oh my god, it was so good, and I am obsessed with their romance. It was just great. Everything about it was great. It was funny, it was cute, and we got to see more of the world in this, of the island with the cozy little shops, and it's just got like this cozy fantasy setting. And there's this group of guys on the island who are all like single, and they're all different creatures. So we saw Bowden, the orc, and there's one that's a kraken, there's one that's a like water dragon, there's one that is Ren, the incubus, and there's another guy who's a mothman, and they're all like kind of like marrying age, and they're all hot and single, but they're all kind of like a little bit awkward, and there's not a lot of like women on the island who are single, and so a lot of the girls that they're having romances with are coming from the mainland that's close to the island. There's a big city there, and so there's different things that are kind of like bringing the city girls to the island, and they end up like falling in love with the island, and they have a romance with one of the guys. And anyway, so there's like a formula kind of to these books, but I love it because they all have pretty like distinct personalities and like different jobs that they have and different things like that, and it's really fun. So, and I love that all the guys are like different monsters, so they have different powers and whatever. Anyway, it's fun. So I loved this one. The Incubus's Angel, I think is what it's called. So that one was a 5 for me. And then I was still in it. And so I read the novella that goes with the series too. And I think it's called Party with the Kraken. So it's following the Kraken guy. His name's Vigo. And he has a romance with this girl from the mainland. And she owns a thrift store, and she's got like purple hair, and she's got like ocean tattoos and stuff, and she's really into him because he's a kraken and because he's just like hot, and they are like the same kind of brand of awkward. Oh my god, they're so cute together. And so the novella was about them, and she's like coming to the island because it's another character's like 100th birthday, and so there's a lot of side characters that are the same throughout the series. So it's definitely the kind of series where you need to read them in order. You can't like skip around, because otherwise you're not going to understand like who the people are that they're meeting and the side characters and all of that, because then you also get to see like previous couples in the later books. So anyways, the Kraken one was also really good. I'm going to give that one a 4. I love the like spicy tentacle scenes, but I feel like sometimes the writing or like the dialogue wasn't like quite as good as book 2, because I think the order they were written in was book 1 with the orc guy, and then the Kraken novella, and then the Incubus's Angel one. And so I read those two out of order because I didn't know the novella existed. But anyways, it was fabulous, and I had a lovely time. So I've read everything that's out in this series, just mood read it, and I'm waiting for the Dragon Guys book to come out because it comes out in April of 2026, which is a really long wait, and I'm upset. So if anybody wants to give me an arc of that, I would love you. But anyways, I'm super excited about that one because that one's going to be about this broody dragon guy who, when he shifts into a dragon, he is more of like a sea serpent kind of dragon. And so he swims around. He's like the guardian of the island. That's his job. And he like also ferries people back and forth between the mainland and the island, but he can't leave the island. Well, he can leave, like he's not bound to it, but that's like his job is to protect the island, and so he can't move to the mainland to like meet people or like fall in love, you know? And so he's kind of just been waiting as all of his buddies have been like finding a partner, and so he's like one of the last ones. So anyways, I'm excited about that. Loving this series. If you're into monster romance, I highly recommend it, especially if you're into ones that also have like cozy fantasy villages and stuff, because almost every creature on the island owns like a different business. So there's like a bakery, there's a bar, there's a like a health clinic, there's all these different ones, and they're all like named cute little things, and it's just really tender. and it's fun. And the spicy scenes are also entertaining. So, and they're all on Kindle Unlimited. So I highly recommend if you're into that. But that's what I've been mood reading lately. So I'll update you when I've read something else. Good morning, Pookie. I'm here for once. What are you doing now? Hi. Oh my goodness. Well, who is that? Who is that? Hi. You saying hi? Hello, my sweet petunias. So it has been a fat minute since we hung out together as friends, and I have not updated this vlog in quite a while because it's taken us quite a while to get settled in our new place after the move. And also, I just haven't really been reading anything. And so, with it being a reading vlog, I was like, I don't really have anything to say. But I really wanted to come and catch up with you a little bit because I've kind of been taking like an unexpected month-long hiatus from filming and doing YouTube and everything, and we have many things to discuss. So, first of all, elephant in the room. Since I haven't been reading, I've been taking up a new hobby recently since we moved, and that's been crochet. And so I've accumulated a lot of yarn, and I've also kind of created my own little office in our new place, and I basically have like my own little studio now where I can read, and I have my big bookshelf and reading chair and everything, and then I also have a bunch of craft supplies and yarn, and I've just been using it as like a reading and crafting space, and it's been really fun. But I thought, even though this is a mood reading vlog, I feel like part of mood reading is also talking about like when you're not in the mood to read and the other stuff that you're doing when you're not reading. So I am gonna get back into reading some of the books that were on my TBR at the end of this video, but I wanted to kind of catch up with you. So we've been working on the house a lot because we moved in and things were just not in good repair. So we've been doing a lot of repairs in the house. We also just got a new oven yesterday. So we are finally able to do some like cozy fall baking, and we made a whole bunch of chocolate chip cookies last night. And I think tonight we're going to make some pumpkin snickerdoodles for the first time. And I've been decorating the house for Halloween and just getting into some like cozy Halloween crochet projects. And it's kind of like getting me excited to make videos. And I also would like to start talking about crochet in my videos as well, even though I still talk about books a lot, but I would like to do some vlogs in the future where I read a book and then also do a crochet project with a similar theme. So I've got some ideas for that going forward. And I also would just like to do more like chill weekly vlogs on my channel going forward where I just talk about like whatever books I'm mood reading, whatever projects I'm crocheting. Also talk about maybe grad school a little bit because since I saw you last, I also started my master's degree in library science. So I'm also doing school as well, so it's just been kind of a whirlwind of a lot of things. And then also at the rental house, we've had some other exciting things going on. So since I saw you, since we first moved in, we've had two mama cats who gave birth underneath our house. And so we've had a whole bunch of cats like hanging out in the yard. And one of the moms had six kittens and the other one had three, and they're still pretty young. So I think the second litter of three, they're probably only like 7 weeks old right now. And then the other litter is maybe like 9 or 10 weeks old. And so we've had a lot of kittens running around. So I think you'll probably be seeing that in this vlog, and then also in some future vlogs, just like videos of the garden that I planted and the kittens that are running around. And we've also got a bunch of other stray cats running around too. So there's like a whole bunch of them out there, and they're kind of fun and they like play in the backyard and stuff. The kittens are really cute. And so that's been another thing. But I also want to show you the crochet projects I'm working on right now, because I've got like four that I'm currently working on and then two that I've finished. So I've finished two crochet projects that were both crochet plant hangers. So one of them was like a chunky yellow one that I made, and that was the first thing I've ever crocheted, so it doesn't look very good, but I put a little plant in there and I didn't really think about the colors. So since the plant hanger is yellow and then the plant is like green and fluffy, it kind of just looks like SpongeBob's house. It kind of just looks like a big pineapple, but it's kind of funny and I kind of love it. And then I also made a second one where I crocheted beads into it, and it's like a purple smaller one, and that one's really cool too. It's in my office. And then I want to show you what else I've been working on, because I'm working on two blankets. One's a baby blanket for a family member who's having a baby in October, and then the other one is just a big blanket for me. So I want to show you kind of the stuff I've been doing. So keep in mind, I'm new to crochet, so this is, it's not expert level, but I feel like I'm getting pretty good. So this is one of the squares I made for the blanket for me. This is kind of like an inspo picture of what it's gonna look like, except mine's gonna be out of like a fluffier, chunkier yarn, but I want it to be kind of like a rainbow daisy flower granny square pattern, and I think it's gonna be pretty big. So all these are different colors. So I did a blue one, and then I did a whole bunch of pink ones, and then I did some orange ones, which I think are my favorite. They're kind of like more autumnal looking, and my favorite color is orange, so I really like that. And then I also did a whole bunch of purple ones, and then there's also going to be yellow and green, and is that it? Or is there going to be another color? I think just yellow, green, and then I need to make more of the blue ones too. But that's kind of one of the blankets I'm working on, and I still need to make some more granny squares for that, so you might see that maybe in this video or maybe in some other upcoming vlogs. And then all of these are for the baby blanket that I'm making, so it's going to be kind of based on this picture I found on Pinterest, where it's got like the teddy bear squares and then also like a more basic granny square to go with it. So this is the teddy bear square, and I haven't weaved in my ends, so don't look at the back, but it's a little like polar bear essentially, and it's gonna have like a little face that I embroider on it. But I like it because it's got these little ears that like stick off, if you can see that. But this is kind of a harder pattern, and so I've only made one. I need to make like 12 more of these bears. So you're definitely going to see me working on that in other vlogs. And then I've made all of the other squares for it that aren't the bears. And this is kind of what those look like. They're more like a standard granny square. Again, don't mind the ends, but they're kind of fun. And I need to block them on like a crochet blocking board because the edges are like really curly. But it's been really fun making these, and I wanted it to be more of like a neutral color palette because the gal that I'm making them for is more into like neutral colors, not so much like the bright crazy colors that I personally am like really a big fan of. So that's another thing I'm working on. And then I think the main things I want to work on today are, well, either today and tomorrow, probably in this vlog, are this project. So this looks like a big square because it is basically just like a giant rectangle, but this is gonna be a vest, and I'm trying to use this as part of my Halloween costume because my husband and I are going to a Halloween party in Missouri pretty soon, and we're gonna be Frog and Toad, and I am gonna crochet some little like frog and toad hats. So here's kind of a picture of what mine's gonna look like. So it's gonna be like a little frog bucket hat, but mine's gonna be kind of more of an orangey toad color. And then I was trying to figure out what kind of a top I could wear with it because I have like a big mossy green cardigan to wear, but I wanted an orange top that would go with my bucket hat so that I really get the full effect, you know? But the problem is if you look online with Frog and Toad, like Frog is always green, but Toad is kind of like different colors and different versions of the book over time. And so in some of them he's more orange and some he's more brown and some he's more yellow. So I kind of took all those colors and combined them into this. And so this is like very autumnal and pretty. And I put like some mohair, like thin yarn in here and all kinds of different textures and stuff, but it's going to be like a tank top. And so this is the front and I need to make the back and then I need to do like a ribbing, kind of like the sweater I have right now, and then like a ribbing for the armpit and then the waist part at the bottom. And those are going to be in orange. So I don't know if you can see the vision. It's hard to see it, but I found this really cool free tutorial on YouTube for it. And pretty much all of these that I've been making so far are all based on free YouTube tutorials. I haven't bought any like crochet patterns yet because I'm still learning, and I wanted to just kind of be able to see videos so I can learn the stitches better and stuff. And then the one that I'm working on today is another like fall pattern. And so basically I'm making this, which doesn't look like much, but it's gonna be a pumpkin pie pot holder and it's got this little like floof of whipped cream on it. But it's double lined, so I did the back like last night and this morning. And so I've been working on this and I need to finish like the trim right there if you can see, and then I'm gonna do like a scallop border on it and like a little loop on the top so I can hang it on the wall in my kitchen. It's gonna be really cute, so I'm working on that. So that's kind of all of my crochet stuff. So I know, sorry, this is normally like I talk about books, right? But I also have been thinking more lately about my channel and kind of what I want to do with it. And I feel like I've been seeing a lot of stuff lately where people do a lot of vlogs and they're always like doing hauls and like shopping and stuff, and that's fine. But I'm kind of getting to a point where I want to be like creating more than I'm consuming, and I still want to do book shopping videos, and I know you guys really like that, and I still want to do that because I love book shopping, I love going to the yarn store, I love crafting, but I kind of want to do more like actual crafting and reading and making things and like reading books and all of that instead of doing more hauls and shopping and all of that. So there's going to be I just want there to be more of a balance, if that makes sense. I think it's important to be kind of creating more than you're consuming. And I've been thinking about that and wanted to incorporate that into the channel more, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where we're going. But I am going to be doing some more reading tonight. I feel like I wasn't in the mood to read. I just needed to go do some crochet and like do something with my hands and make some physical stuff. And now I'm feeling like I kind of got the itch for crochet out of my system a little bit. I want to finish up that pumpkin pot holder, and then I think I want to get back into reading some more monster romance because I have been really enjoying that this year. And I feel like now that we're getting into fall, I'm feeling more into my like monster vibe. So I'm very excited about that. But I think today we're just gonna have a cozy day. We're gonna do some crochet. We're gonna hang out. I want to show you some clips of the outdoor kittens playing in the yard because I saw them this morning and they're very cute. And I kind of want to show you the little spot in the garden that I started. And it's not done by any means, but I planted some petunias and they're actually alive. So that's fun. So I want to show you that. And then I think when we make cookies tonight, I'll probably take you along with me for that. And then any reading that I do, I'll take you along with me for that as well. But I wanted to just give you that update on what's been going on. A lot of school. We got the kittens. We pretty much got the house fixed up now for the most part. I'm still doing a little bit of painting of the trim in some of the rooms, but we got our new oven. Things are going good. I feel like we're finally like settled in Iowa now, and I'm in a point where I can get back into filming and get back into making some like fun fall content for you guys. So make sure you stick around if you want to see some more vlogs, because there's definitely going to be some more coming that are going to be like really cozy and autumnal, and I'm really excited. So I will update you when I have something else to share. You're so cute. Hi. Are you Angie? She's so cute. Nice measurement, honey. Hello, my darlings. I have an update for you, both reading and crochet wise. So, first of all, I want to show you the crochet projects that I completed because I've been crocheting like a mad woman this fall and I've been having such a fun time and getting really into it. I feel like I'm improving a lot. So, I wanted to show you. I finished the pot holder I was working on that's a little pumpkin pie. So, this is the little end product. It's got a little border on it and it has this little floof in the middle that's like whipped cream. And I think it turned out really cute. It's got a little loop on the top so I can hang it on the wall in the kitchen, so it's also decor, but I also made it out of cotton yarn, so it's actually functional as well, so I can put a hot pot on here and the yarn's not gonna melt or anything because it's made out of cotton. So it's the first thing I finished and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then I also finished up the costume for my Halloween costume party thing that my husband and I are going to. And basically it's for his work, and so we wanted to kind of like go all out for it. And so I made my little toad outfit. So this is my little toad hat. It's kind of hard to hold with one hand, but this is kind of what it looks like. It's got little blushy cheeks on it. I did the little eyeballs too. I kind of just like freehand embroidered the little pupils on there. I think it turned out good. And then this is the back, and it's got like a little ruffle on the bottom. I literally just followed like a little frog bucket hat crochet tutorial on YouTube and then changed the color and changed the like pupil pattern a little bit to make it look more like Toad from Frog and Toad, but I think this turned out really, really good. And then I also finished in my eyes, the top for my Toad costume. This took me absolutely ages, and I didn't film like a lot of me making it, but this is kind of what it looks like. I'm gonna try to not light me on fire, or drop this. But basically, this is like a little mesh top. It's kind of like a tank top. It doesn't really have the ribbing collar or ribbing on the bottom like the pattern had. Again, free YouTube tutorial pattern. I'll link it down below. But it does have like really cool mesh, if you can see that. It's very fun. And I stitched up the top with like orange stitching. And I had to stitch up the sides too down here, but it's basically like two rectangles, and then you stitch the shoulders and the sides, and that's pretty much how it is. But I was gonna put ribbing on the top, and then I realized like it actually fits me pretty well, and I don't feel super confident about crocheting ribbing yet because I've never really done that before, and I tried it and it turned out okay, but it's gonna take forever, and I don't have time to finish it before we do the party. And so I'm just gonna wait, and after the party, if I feel like doing ribbing and like doing more research on how to do a ribbed collar that looks good, then I'll add it like after the fact. But the bottom is more like a crop top, and so I don't really feel like it needs ribbing. Like they had ribbing in the pattern, but I don't know if it's really like actually necessary. So this is the full piece. This is the bottom. Can you see? Hello? Can you see the bottom? Anyways, that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a big square, but I will give you a little picture because by the time you see this vlog, we'll have gone to the Halloween party already. So I will put a little picture here of me in my little like costume at the party. But anyways, I'm very excited that we're gonna be Frog and Toad. Really glad that I got that costume done in time before the party, because I was a little nervous because that took me a long, long time. But that's all the stuff I've crocheted. I could crochet this whole pile of stuff. Isn't that crazy? I literally just started learning how to crochet like 2 months ago, and we're already here. Also, the fall colors, incredible, love it. Anyway, so that's my crochet update. And then in terms of reading, I've also done a lot of reading. So I have been working my way through the one by Kimberly Lemming. It's not that time. It's not that time, honey. It's the I got abducted by an alien and I'm trapped in a rom-com. Somebody really needed to edit that title. Honey, it's too many words. Like what am I even reading? Anyway, but I've been reading that, and I'm like 74% of the way through the ebook. It's going good so far. What is this flame doing? Hello? Anyway, it's going good. I think it's sitting at like I don't know, I wanted to say a 4, but I also feel like the beginning of this book and the end, towards the end of this book, are like almost two different books, if that makes sense. But basically, we're following this girl. Her name is Dory, and she's a wildlife biologist, which is really cool. And she's in the desert at the beginning of this book studying meerkats and like filming them and stuff. And she's like got this research internship in the desert. It's a whole thing. She's working on her PhD, smart gal, super into animals, and she's got a mom who really sucks. Her mom is really rude to her. Her mom's like a pageant queen girly, and she tried to get all three of her daughters to do that, and Dory's two sisters are into it and she's not, and she just wants to like run around in her hiking boots and like film meerkats. She's super into plants and all the types of animals, and she's very knowledgeable about like different species and stuff. Anyways, and so she's out in the field filming her little meerkats, and then she gets attacked by a lion, and she's like about to die, and then she gets abducted by aliens, and that's the beginning of the book. And can I also just say, with this book, it does this kind of weird thing that I'm not sure if I like, and I don't know if it's just this book or if this is just like how the author's writing always is, because I haven't read any other books from this author before. This is my foray into Kimberly Lemming stuff. But basically, the writing, you'll be in a scene, and then all of a sudden it switches to a completely different scene, and it feels kind of like you missed something in the middle, but there's not a lot of transition sometimes from like one scene to another, and sometimes it's because Dory like faints or something, and that's like clear, right? We know why we're missing chunks here, but other times it's not clear as to why, and it's a little hard to follow, like, where is the character? Like, is she in the desert? Is she on her way up to the spaceship? Is she in the spaceship? Like, where's I have a hard time visualizing what's happening sometimes because of the way it's written, if that makes sense. And it happens not just like in action scenes or like near death experience scenes, it happens frequently. And like I still am following like what's happening, but sometimes it takes me a minute to be like, oh, okay, we've transitioned from this location to a different location, like mid chapter, like one paragraph to another, if that makes sense. Anyway, so that is a little bit jarring sometimes, but I do really like the characters. Dory is entertaining, and basically she is abducted by aliens, and the aliens are these like little owl kind of alien looking creatures. But they're like colorful, anyways. And so she's like in and out of consciousness. They heal her, but they do some stuff to her, not like creepy, but anyways, basically they kind of like modify her DNA, and then she wakes up and she like escapes from the aliens, and she sees other women in like these holding containers like on the spaceship, and she's freaked out. And also the lion got abducted by aliens with her. And so long story short, she and the lion are in an escape pod. She escapes from the aliens and she crash lands on this other planet. And she now has this ability where if she kisses people or animals, she can, or they lick her, she can understand them. So she and the lion can talk to each other. It's a whole thing. She and the aliens on this planet she crash lands on can communicate. And she and the lion get saved by this guy. His name's Soul, and he's an alien on the planet they crash land onto, and he's got like fire powers. He can like shoot fireballs. And anyways, the lion, she names him Toto, because she kind of sees herself as like Dorothy in Wizard of Oz, and like the spaceship was kind of like her tornado, and she got like dropped in this new world. And anyways, so she and Toto the lion and Soul the alien guy are trying to like survive on this planet, and the planet they crash land on has dinosaurs on it. And anyways, there's a lot of lore about like how this planet came to be, and the species of aliens that's on the island or on the planet, excuse me, are not native to it. They also got dropped onto the planet by the same owl aliens that dropped her there. But their home planet got destroyed, and so they're trying to kind of figure out like what happened, like how did their home planet get destroyed? What's going on with these owl aliens? Like, why are they dropping people here? And it seems like there's a sort of like breeding program that the owl aliens are trying to produce on this planet, because the gray alien guys, Soul and some others, their planet got destroyed, and so the owls saved some of their species and dropped them onto this newly terraformed planet. But when they did that, they didn't know, like in this other alien species, like which ones were males and females. So they accidentally abducted like only the males and saved only some of the males, like the strongest ones they thought would survive. And so the aliens that Dory and Toto the lion encounter are like warrior guys. So they're like badass, they shoot fire, and they're surviving on this planet full of dinosaurs. So there's like T-Rex, there's pterodactyls, there's Stegosaurus, the whole bit. And they're massive. And they've tamed some of the dinosaurs, but a lot of them are just like running rampant. There's like all kinds of crazy species on the planet. And Dory is like freaking out with her biology brain because she can see that there's like giant toads, there's giant ground sloths like living amongst the dinosaurs. Like the owl aliens who created this planet and like terraformed it just took like random DNA samples from museums on Earth and recreated these creatures that should not be living in the same time. And it's just crazy. It's a like total madhouse of a planet. But anyway, so our girl Dory ends up having a white shoes romance with two of the gray alien guys on this newly terraformed planet. And the owl aliens are basically trying to like abduct human women who are about to die and adjust their DNA and then drop them on this new planet in order for them to breed with the alien guys they saved from the planet that got destroyed, in order for them to like continue on and like reproduce on this planet. And it's basically just kind of like one big science experiment gone wrong. And the human girls don't want to be there. They're pissed, and the alien guys have no idea how to deal with human women. And there's dinosaurs and fire magic and like action and fight scenes, and they're like trying to survive, and it's totally nuts. But anyways, it's very entertaining. The beginning of the book is much more like um a lot of alien stuff and like world building and dinosaurs and stuff like that. And then later on, it starts feeling a little more like medieval almost, because there's one of the gray alien guys on this new planet who's like totally evil. And our girl Dory has a run in with him because the owl aliens. Are you tracking? This is a lot of aliens. I'm sorry. It's a lot of lore, but I want to tell you about it because it's not at all what I thought it was going to be. And I think it's interesting. Anyway, so Dory is hanging out with these two hot alien guys on the new planet, and the little owl guys, there's one in particular, they call him Intern. He crash lands on the planet by accident when he's kind of like stalking them for his research, and they shoot his little spaceship down, and he's explaining to them like what's going on. And thank God for Intern, because I never would have put this shit together if it wasn't for him running his mouth. Anyway, so he basically says for this mating program, they also give people, they like shoot them with these love potion darts to try and get them to form this mate bond, because the stuff in the darts makes the gray aliens on the new terraform planet, I think they're called like the Sordak or something. Anyway, they get this mate bond triggered in their mind from this serum, and so she ends up becoming forcibly basically mates with two of these alien guys. And one of them is this badass previous war general guy, and he was a war general on his planet that got destroyed, and the other guy was a lawyer before, and now they're both like badass warriors on the current planet just trying to survive. But the previous war general, he's got a serious old enemy that he was at war with before their planet imploded, and that evil guy, he thought he killed him before their world ended, but turns out he survived, and he's on the new planet, and he's abducted our girl Dory because that guy is her mate, and he's trying to lure out her mate because he wants to kill him. So that's a tea. So the evil guy has created this almost like kingdom, and he's trying to take people out, and he's really like total sociopath. So she's dealing with him. He's a creep, and she's trying to save her other mate who also got captured, and it's a lot of action. There's a lot of things happening, but I'm enjoying it so far. The writing isn't always like the clearest, but I'm tracking well enough. So I think it's sitting at like a 3.5 or a 4 right now. I'm enjoying it. And then today I'm also going to start the one from Lizzie Strong that I really wanted to get to, and I'm going to try and finish the other one that I was just talking about. So that's the plan for today, and I don't think I'm going to do any more crochet in this vlog. I think I'm good on that for the moment. So that's the plan, and I will update you when I probably finished a book and start another book, and then we'll wrap up this vlog. I look like the rat from the Ninja Turtles. Hello. Listen, sometimes you just gotta look like the rat from the Ninja Turtles. Anyway, I'm here with a final reading update because I finished the Alien romance I was reading, and I also started the other romance by Lizzie Strong. So let's debrief. So I know I already talked to you about the one by Kimberly Lemming, the I got abducted by an alien and trapped in a rom-com or whatever. And there's three things I haven't talked to you about yet with that one. One of them is the men, the boys, the love interests, of which there are two. So our main girly pop, Dory, she's got two of these, spicy alien boys lusting after her, of course, that are her mates. And so one of them is Locke, and the other one is Soul. And for a lot of this book, to be honest, I kind of just wished it was her and Soul because I like him more. I think he's more witty and funny and saucy. But Locke is also there, and he's more of a slick guy, He's kind of a smooth talker. But he is cool. I just think he's a little more possessive and like alpha, which isn't really something I enjoy reading about. Also, I want to talk to you about the spicy scenes because there is nodding in this book. If you know what that is, if you don't, I'm not going to tell you. Google it. Basically, it's kind of similar to werewolf shifter romances more than like any other kind of monster romance, I would say. Some of this like spicy scenes reminded me of Bride by Alea Hazelwood, but I will say the two guys are like nice to her and they kind of have like a rivalry with each other, so they're always kind of trying to like one up each other, but it's mostly like good natured. And in this story, the intern alien guy who's like watching the main gal Dory and her two mates like interact, he's kind of like studying their relationship because they're kind of the first mating group that's kind of formed on this new planet. And so he's trying to kind of figure out like how to make them fall for each other, not just have like physical attraction. And so he's got this little Tamagotchi thing where he is like tracking Dory's affection levels for both of the guys. And so they're both kind of trying to like compete to see who can like reach a 10 out of 10 on the attraction scale like faster, even though it doesn't matter, like she still made it to both of them regardless. But it's kind of funny to watch them both like try and impress her and make her catch feelings and stuff. So that's kind of funny. It's done in a very like lighthearted, humorous way, which I enjoyed. There's also a lot of like high action and like fight scenes in here, where they're like fighting dinosaurs and they're fighting some of the like alien owl guys. The species the intern is, there's a whole bunch of them like following the couple around the island, and sometimes they're trying to like capture them and stuff, so they're like fighting them. And the alien like owl guys in here that are kind of running the show and like created the planet and dropped them there and everything, in my head the whole time all I could picture them as was Furbies, to be honest. I know they're like owls and they're colorful, but to me they're Furbies. I don't know what to say. Anyways, so that's what I was envisioning the entire time, was like Furbies versus dinosaurs versus hot gray muscular fire aliens plus our human girl Dory and then the talking lion. It was a time, but I enjoyed it. I read the whole thing in 2 days, which normally I don't sit down and binge read a book like that. So if that happens, that's usually a good indicator that it like kept my attention. I was invested in the story. I was having fun. And so I definitely think this is a fun monster romance. If you're into that, I think that you would like this. It's definitely not like a serious book by any means. It's really just like a fun, crazy, good time that has like a lot of interesting elements thrown together with the dinosaurs and the aliens and things you wouldn't normally see all in one book. Also, if you're into like animals and biology or anthropology or anything like that, you might like this too, because there is a lot of talk in here about like ground sloths and dinosaurs and the different like time periods that they existed in and the way that they shouldn't all be on the same planet at one time. And Dory's really into animals, and it talks about her like studying meerkats at the beginning. So I don't know, I'm really into anthropology stuff. I have an anthropology minor, so that was really fun for me to like have those elements but also get the monster romance at the same time. And then in terms of the spiciness, because that's really what we're all here for, is the zest. I liked most of the spicy scenes. They are, I mean, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief because, they're at one point they're all three under the influence of a love potion. They're like getting it on in the middle of a clearing, and then they get interrupted by like a dinosaur attack, and it's like running through the jungle with no clothes on. Like it's crazy. And at points, I kind of had a hard time like envisioning the spicy scenes. I'm like, what is happening with these positions? We were on like riding a dinosaur, and now all of a sudden we're having a spicy scene, but we're still like mid fight. Like there's just a lot going on, but it was fun. So I'll say that I had fun with it. It wasn't like super cringy. There is some like dirty talk stuff that I think was like done well. There is some like possessive stuff with Locke, which may not be everybody's cup of tea, and there is a little bit of dubious consent with the love potion thing, but I still think it was like lighthearted. It didn't feel like icky or anything. So, anyways, that's what I'll say about that. But I really enjoyed all of that stuff. And then the last thing I wanted to tell you about is there's kind of a theme in here that I really liked that was actually brought up by the lion character Toto, which is funny. And he's talking to our main girl Dory at the beginning when they get dropped on this planet, because she's having a really hard time with the fact that like she was super driven when she lived on Earth and was working on her PhD and was really really close to getting her PhD and being able to kind of like prove to her mom that like she can take care of herself. Like she doesn't need to just get married, to have some guy take care of her. Like she really is driven and intelligent and has her life figured out. And she's just really struggling with the fact that she's not getting to finish her PhD. And Toto basically tells her, like, it's okay if your life, diverts from that plan that you had. Like, obviously, you've planned things out your whole life and been one of those people that's trying to, like, check all the boxes of success, and it's okay if your life isn't just like a checklist, And he's kind of like almost like Jack Sparrow-esque, where it's like, it's not so much the destination as the journey, right? But he's trying to show her that, really they're on this adventure now, that they're on this other planet, and it's up to her how far she wants to go. Because at some points she really just wants to like give up and let the dinosaurs eat her and just lay down and die. And he's like, is this really as far as you want to go? And he kind of encourages her to just like keep going and, kind of let go of the checklist in her head of how she was going to, be successful in life and what her life was going to look like, and just kind of go with the flow and, see what happens and just enjoy the adventure of living on this other planet with these other aliens and everything. And I liked that message. I thought that was a really cool theme of, just allowing yourself to see your life as an adventure and not trying to just, check the boxes of this, that, and the other, or like appease your family or whatever, and just being able to kind of do what works for you, and knowing that like you can go as far as you want to go. And if you decide like, I'd rather go back to Earth or, something like that, you can change your mind. Anyways, I just like that. I thought that was kind of a cool aspect to have in a monster romance. So anyways, overall, I think I'm going to give it a 4-star just because I had such a fun time with it. And I would recommend it if it sounds interesting to you, because I think it was just a fun time. And then I also started How to Seduce a Slender by Lizzie Strong, and I'm also really enjoying that. I'm not super far, and I think I'm like 20% of the way through the ebook. It's pretty long, the ebook at least is like over 400 pages. So I'm not sure how long the physical book is, but the first book in this series by her, How to Marry a Lich, was also really long. So I was kind of anticipating that I probably wouldn't finish it in this video, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So we're following this guy, Smith, who was a side character in the first book, How to Marry a Lich, which I really enjoyed. I gave that 5 stars. And so he's a side character. He's the lawyer of the guy Sebastian from book 1, and he also lives in this haunted manor with the main couple from book 1 and their other like assistants slash servants, friends, etc. Anyway, so he's having a romance with this gal named Melody, who's a werewolf, and she is a waitress at this diner that he goes to, and he doesn't really care about the diner. He just goes to see her, and he goes like multiple times a week because he has a crush on her, and he's been doing that for a few years. And then one night he's like walking home from the office, and he runs into her in the woods, and she's like running from her for her life. She's being chased by these evil like wolf creatures that were sent to kill her, and they're like eldritch beings, and so he knows that somebody like sent them after her to kill her, and he intervenes and he saves her, and he takes her to the manor from book 1, and the setting is really cool. There's this like old haunted manor in the forest where these different magical beings live, and it's kind of like a home for lost beings. It's very like found family vibes, but every creature who lives in the house is like a different type of creature, and some of them are ghosts, wraiths. The main guy from the last book who lives there and like owns the mansion, he's a lich, and his wife is a elf who is also like part eldritch god because she killed an eldritch god in the first book and like took on its powers. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But I really like the main girl, Melody, the werewolf. She is having some like amnesia. She doesn't really remember like what attacked her or what happened, and she's been attacked before a long time ago when she was a kid, and so she's a werewolf, but somebody came after her and attacked her when she was a kid and like stole her wolf, so she can't like shift or anything. She has like claws and fangs, and that's it. And also her family members have also been mostly killed. Somebody like abducted her twin brother, and he's been gone for a while, but she doesn't know if he's alive or not. Her parents are dead, and so it seems like there's something coming after her and her family. And basically, Smith is trying to solve the mystery of what is coming after her, who's coming after her. He's trying to protect her. And so she's staying at the manor with him until they can get it sorted out. And the longer that she stays there, the more he kind of gets insight into like her, and she's having these awful nightmares. And he is a slender, and so he has this ability where he can like feast on nightmares and dreams. And so he kind of like eats her nightmares so that she can sleep well at night, and they have really cute like banter going on, and she's really funny and like lively, and he's kind of like a hard ass lawyer, and he's also a magical being that's been alive for like 800 years, and he's never really, I don't know if he's like been in love before or not, but he, doesn't normally have a partner or anything. And so but he's really down bad for her and has been for a long time. And so finally now they're like really getting to know each other, because she doesn't really know him beyond the fact that like they chat when he comes in the diner. And anyways, it's very fun. I'm really enjoying it so far. I really like being back in this world. It's perfect for Halloween, very like spooky and magical. So I'm excited about this. And there's also going to be a third book. So I think it's going to be a trilogy. And the third book is also following another side character we see in book 1 and 2. And that guy's a zombie. So anyways, it's very fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad that I got to this year, because it's been on my most anticipated releases list, and I'm just loving it so far. It's very cozy, but it's also just a really fun monster romance. There's so many different creatures, and this is set in the world of Kingsfall. So this author has a whole bunch of different books set in the same world. She's got like a few different series. So I've read a few books from different series that are all in this world, and it's cool because you get to see couples that appear in other books kind of reappear in various books later on. So some of the couples that show up, I've seen them before. And then there's some other ones where I'm like, I don't think I've read their book yet. I need to go back and do that. So anyways, overall, I had a really good time reading for this vlog and just mood reading like a whole bunch of different monster romances. I've been super into monster romances here. So if you have any recommendations, let me know down below. And if you got to this point in the video, let me know what your favorite book that you've read in 2025 has been, because I would love to know. And thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, leave me a jack-o'-lantern emoji in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!